You there, Joel?
Don?
Hey, good morning.
Yep. Hey, so I got that information for the rock delivery.
Yeah, the aggregate.
Yes. So my delivery and rock and potential overages and stuff like that from a guy delivering is 115K for 660 tons of this rock from Utah to Arizona.
Okay.
How do I do this one?
I don't understand the question.
So you wanted me to call you back once I got this information. How do I don't even see there is no break. They're not even throwing a number at it like they normally do on most of these RFQs. I'm doing so little on this job. Literally, I'm managing paperwork from a distance.
Oh, are you asking what the markup should be?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm feeling 165. Feeling like $50,000.
Well, let me ask you this. So, look, in the workshop, I talk about the variable frequency drives. Do you remember that part of the workshop?
As you talk, it'll probably kick in. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna teach you as I teach it in the workshop. So I got a phone call from a guy years ago. It was like 6 months after the workshop, or maybe 3 months, but whatever. It was sometime after the workshop. And he calls me up and he says, Sean, I haven't won a job yet. When anybody ever says that to me, my first question back is, how many jobs have you bid? And he said, 3. And I said, whoa, right, dude, you should have bid like 100 jobs by now. And he says, I don't feel comfortable bidding jobs when I don't know what it is. I said, okay, look, you pull out bid tracker, I'll pull up bid tracker, and and the very first job I looked at said replace 2 VFDs, 125 horsepower, something like that. And he goes, I said, you should bid this. And he goes, what's a VFD? I said, well, dude, just Google VFD, variable frequency drive, and I talk about that in the workshop. So anyway, we come up with a price of like $15,000 of cost. And I said, okay, how much? And then I said to the room, if you have $15,000 in cost, how much do you turn your bid in? And
45.
I get all kinds of answers from people. Okay. And I said, right, that's fine. I got no problem with that. I love like-minded people. But can you understand from Sean's perspective that if I bid this job, I could potentially bid it for $17,000? And I'm saying this to a room of like-minded people for a reason. And the reason that I'm saying it that way is because what does Sean have to do if I get that federal contract? I'm asking you, Joel, what do I have to do if I get that federal contract?
You have 3 options. You can pass, you can renegotiate.
No. That's pre-award. If I get the federal contract, that's awarded. Once I get that contract, what do I physically have to do?
Fudge. Paperwork.
Okay. Define that. What do I have to do?
I don't know because I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, but just imagine in your head the job is to replace 2.
You get a phone call from a customer. We'd like to move forward. You get your bond going.
It's $17,000. No bond.
No bond for $17,000. Okay, so no bond. You make sure that your insurance covers. your
I
work
have
for
I
that
have
state?
GNL 1-2 insurance. Everybody in the construction industry has GNL 1-2 insurance. So yes, I need to make a phone call or an email that says I need a certificate. Okay, what's next?
Call your subcontractors.
What do I have to tell him?
We got the job. Where are you? What is this bid at now?
Okay,
Because it's
so
gonna
maybe
change from the
maybe
time
I
you bid.
negotiate with him, and instead of my cost being 15,000, maybe now it's 14,000. Okay, so I send him a purchase order, and now what has to happen?
Normally, it would get the job scheduled.
Okay, we're gonna do it next
That's
Wednesday.
in public.
So I spent 15 minutes coordinating and making sure the job's gonna happen next Wednesday. Now what do I have to do?
Normally, you would do the job.
Okay, so he goes out there on Wednesday and he installs or pulls out the old VFDs, installs the new VFDs, and he's done. But what did I have to do during that?
Phone calls and probably some paperwork for billing.
Okay, so now I turn in my bill and I get paid. How much of my time was involved in all that shit?
10, 15 minutes, maybe 5 minutes.
Maybe 2 hours over the course of a week.
Oh, yeah, the course of the whole thing, yeah, maybe
Okay.
2 hours, yeah.
Okay, now, how much money am I making per hour of my time?
That $2,000 a bump for 2 hours is $1,000 an hour.
So that's right, $1,000 an hour. Okay, and if you recall from the workshop, I always say that on RFQs and RFPs, you should basically be in them for at a minimum of $1,000 an hour. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be making $10,000 an hour or $50,000. There have been jobs where I've made I think $45,000 an hour was the most I ever got per hour of my time. Okay, but my point being that you can get a job and put small numbers on it that are massive amounts of money for your time. But I'm not saying that you have to do it on this job, okay? I'm just saying that there's multiple ways to price these things. And I just want to make sure that you understand that as you're...
I don't want to get... I hear what you're saying. Because literally the guy has put in more time than I have trying to track down trucking from Utah to Arizona. He's worked on a better price for me, but it's also 660 ton. He's doing all the work, and I'm literally making a phone call that took...
Look, it doesn't matter.
Half an hour.
Look, Joel,
I'll be maybe an hour and a half into this thing.
Joel, that part doesn't matter. What I'm really trying to drive home is that...
What's your time?
Well, not even that. What I'm really trying to drive home is there's multiple ways to bid this thing. You can bid it expressed as a percent. Okay? If it's $100,000 and I want to make 30%, I should turn my bid in for $130,000. That's one way. Another way is, how much time am I going to be involved? How much money how complicated is this job? Can anybody be making this phone call? Or do I have some kind of unique strategy, and I put my time and effort in and I should be paid handsomely for that? There's multiple methods. Whatever you decide to come up with is fine by me, okay? I'm just here...
I heard somebody disclosed where I should find it by mistake in a phone call that I had, one of 19 phone calls. She said South Utah is where that rock yard is. And then I asked, what was that? And then she went on to something else because she disclosed where it came from. So it was like finding Waldo.
Okay.
Then I called it one yard, left a voicemail. Everybody else I talked to left a voicemail, and he's the only one who's been able to find it, period. So it was more of a search and destroy and actually found it versus...
Okay, then maybe you should price this thing higher.
Because it's... Okay, so here's the thing. per the scope of work that they have attached, they need it 3/4 inch. It only exists in half and one. They want it washed, clean aggregate. But the problem is it's so remote. There is no water to rinse this off with. There is none at all. It's in 2 different locations, and it's a red pink, and it's going to be just kind of dialing in a color because it's not a consistent, even though they call it out as a consistent. So those are the variables going in, but those are negotiable because you can say, hey, you guys found this. Okay, where do I find that? Because then we can get it from there. Other than that, this is the closest I was able to find, period, in the nation of the United States.
Okay.
Because it doesn't exist anywhere other than 1 yard. And that's out in the middle and nowhere in Utah. So those are the variables. But past that, literally, I was in probably an hour of phone call. And the guy's been doing all the heavy lifting for the last couple of days, trying to track down trucking and everything else to do it.
Okay.
So if I'm in at 115, so I could be like 130 and be very comfortable making $15,000 an hour.
There you go.
How much paperwork am I looking at? Okay, hypothetically, Joel gets this job, or FS Restoration gets this job. How much paperwork? Because I've never seen that side of it. I've only heard you talk about it. How much paperwork is involved on that side? Because at 130, that would be a bond. No. What's not bonded on a federal job? What's the price point?
They might. Well, first of all, the threshold, generally speaking, is somewhere between 17 and 25,000. But
okay, so there will be a bond on that then.
But hold on. There might not be a bond on this job because all you're doing is providing a material. You're just dropping it off, right? You're not installing it?
Yep. Dropping it off in 2 piles in 2 different locations. One's 160 ton at one.
If you're questioning it, just call the contracting officer and say, "Hey, are you guys requiring a bond on this thing, or is it just a material drop off?"
So worst case is if it's a bond at 115 at 3%, you're looking at 130 at 3%. You're in. It's what, less than $1,000?
Well, 3% of 100,000 would be $3,000, so a little over $3,000.
A little over $3,000. So you're still walking in with $12,000 for doing 2 hours of work.
Yeah, well, you're physically not. You kept talking, so you didn't let me answer your question, which was how much paperwork am I going to be doing after award? And you're going to have an hour or two of filling shit out.
Okay, so I'm making $4,000 an hour instead of $6,000.
Okay, if that's fine by you, it's fine by me.
I just want to break the frickin' cherry. I want to be able to say, hey,
to do that, just keep turning in bids. I mean, I'll just tell you that the people that fail at this are the guys that quit. If you keep turning in bids, you're going to start getting federal contracts. And once you get the first one, the second, third, and fourth are way easier.
That's what I want. So I want that first. So I say 130. I'd say 130,000. No, because you don't want an even number because you rounded it up. I want 129,950.
Okay.
Because I learned that with public is if you have to if it's a whole number, you rounded it up. If it's an odd number past that number you thought it was, that's better because it's an odd number.
Okay.
It's psychology. That's psychology of business. I don't get it, but it just makes more sense for people. So I always see rounded numbers. You don't even see rounded numbers at grocery stores or at restaurants. So my second question is, RFP, right? Not an RFQ, but the other one.
Yeah.
What is that one?
Request for proposal.
Right. So you told me those are tougher.
It's not that they're tougher, it's that they're more risk because the government can just award it to you without discussion.
But can you walk away from it?
No.
So you can't just throw shit and hope it holds onto that wall. You have to, if you're bidding those, you have to be dialed in.
That's right.
So you've got to cover your ass. So those should be more expensive.
Yes.
Just to cover your ass.
Yes.
Or an RFQ, you can walk away if you're not sure or unsure.
Look,
or if it changes.
On RFQs and RFPs, it's extremely easy to get out of the contract prior to award. But it is equally difficult to get out of it after award. In fact, just assume that you can't get out of a contract after award, and then maybe someday, if we have to, under extreme duress, I might be able to help you get out of one, but no promises.
Right. So, and that was the part of the training where you do not acknowledge the email. It's like, I'm not prepared. I wasn't expecting your call. Can I give you a call back in 24 to 48 hours?
That's right, unless you're just sure.
No. Was that part of that training? Was that?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because if you acknowledge the email, you've acknowledged the conversation.
That's right.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes sometimes they do something real simple. They just say, "Hey, is your price still good?" Yeah, awarded.
Boom, and it's done. So you have to be very aware. See, there's psychology of business too.
It sure is.
Don't overtalk. Yeah. Okay. So, because I've been kind of skipping over the other one, not the RFP, but no, the RFQ. I've been going to the RFQs. I've been skipping over the other ones. But if I can do that and just basically watch what I'm fucking saying, then I'm fine on the other ones.
No, it has nothing to do with what you say on RFPs.
The acceptance. No, not the RFQ, but the I think the RFP.
RFPs, they can just award it to you.
But wouldn't you have to say yes?
No.
My price is still good.
No.
Oh.
What the fuck,
that's just
Joe?
the RFQ. That's just the RFQ that you can get out of. But the RFP is like, okay, yeah, here, your job here, you're done. You have like no way out.
Correct.
Other than the magic unicorn that you won't tell me about, which is smart. Okay, done. All right, man. That's where I'm at. I just want to break the balloon and get this thing going. Just that I know that it freaking works, because I know it works. It's just seeing the fruit coming out of it.
Yep.
That's where I'm at. But how bad is the paperwork once like this RFQ comes in, says, hey, okay,
it's not bad.
Here we go.
It's not bad. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. There's not going to be any surprises.
And this part of the services you're walking me through.
Yes.
How to do this, so I understand. Okay. So be it. Done.
Okay.
Done deal, sir. Thank you, sir.
Have
a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.